Hello everyone and welcome to our course. I am Dương Thu Mai, a lecturer of this course from the University of Languages and International Studies. It is my pleasure to accompany you in this introductory course of classroom language assessment for teachers of English. As you may know, VSTEP has become a popular test of English in Vietnam in recent years. This test measures English learner general proficiency of English in strict conditions and under time limit. This method of assessing language ability is named standardized testing. In this course, we do not focus on standardized language testing. Our course discusses the language assessment in the classroom for teachers. Now, let's begin. In this first video of the course, you will learn to distinguish some key terms in classroom language assessment before learning a range of language assessment purposes. Let's start with what is assessment and how it is different from two similar terms, measurement and evaluation. First, we will see what is measurement. In education, people often measure intelligence, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills. In language assessment, some concepts such as listening comprehension ability and writing ability are often measured, but they are not observable. In order to measure them, it is necessary to think of a list of relevant skills which are more observable. For example, student ability to listen to key information or students' ability to write a topic sentence. Students perform each of these skills at different levels. Measurement means the process of giving a numeric score for the student performance, such as giving a 3 for the better students and giving a 1 for the poorer ones. This is the way information about student ability is collected. Unlike measurement, assessment is a process for collecting data or information from the student, which may be their scores or other type of evidence of their learning, explaining all of them, and then making decisions for teaching, learning, and curriculum improvement. In the diagram, you can see 3 now has a meaning, which can be good performance. Thus, the process of assessment is longer and includes not only measurement, but also the explanation of the students' results and the decision made for them. The term assessment, therefore, matches the range of tasks of a classroom teacher better. It might be also interesting to note the difference between assessment and evaluation. If measurement is often the first step in the assessment process, evaluation is often used to mean the step of making decisions for the students based on all the information collected. The decision may be granting a grade level such as A, B, C, or D, or selecting the student for a gifted class, etc. So evaluation is closely related to the purposes of assessment, which we will discuss next. Now the question is, why are we assessing student language ability? First, assessment is conducted for teachers to manage teaching and learning. It can provide information to know if the instruction the teacher has provided is effective or ineffective. In this way, it provides feedback for the teachers to improve their teaching and for the student to improve their learning. Secondly, most people are familiar with selection purposes of language assessment. A language school decides that some students are acceptable, whereas some others are not, and those who are unacceptable are rejected. Next, language assessment also have placement purposes when students are placed in different levels of language ability in different classes, but no one is sent home. All students remain within the school. Students took an English test, for instance, to study in a talented program, and other students must be placed in the normal program. Sometimes, after being tested, students are classified into several kinds of programs. The students are not different in their levels of ability, but in other factors, such as in their learning styles. As a result of the test, they can receive a more suitable teaching program. Finally, language assessment can focus on whether a student has reached minimum competence to be given a certificate or degree, such as an IELTS certificate or a language university degree. From another point of view, based on the time of assessment, assessment purposes can be classified to be summative or formative. Summative assessment is aimed to have a teacher evaluate student learning after teaching some units of a course or the whole course. It means judging the quality of a student's work after the teaching process is completed. Giving grades of A, B, C, or D to students' language ability is one example of summative purposes. The grade can represent the progress students have made toward achieving the curriculum learning goals. On the other hand, formative use of language assessment means judging the quality of a student's work while they are still in the process of learning. When you ask questions in a class to see whether students understand the lesson, for example, you are obtaining information to formatively evaluate the learning. In general, formative assessments are less formal than summative assessment. Here are some suggestions for teachers to use formative assessment. 1. They can use it to diagnose individual student learning needs and to help decide the future learning and teaching. 2. They can use formative assessment methods as teaching tools. For example, a teacher may give a practice test or a mock exam to help students understand type of tasks used for the final assessment. Also, they can use assessment results to clarify for students exactly what students are expected to perform when learning is complete. They can use formative assessment to provide specific feedback for students. Finally, to motivate students, they can also use self-assessment to help students participate in teaching themselves. Thus, there are so many formative purposes of assessment as well as summative ones. Teachers need to identify why they are conducting their assessment as the first step of the assessment process, as everything they are doing in assessment is affected by these purposes. Whether their assessment process is useful or meaningful or not is highly dependent on their purpose clarification. That's the end of video number 1. If you have any question on assessment purposes and process, please don't hesitate to post them in the forum. Thank you for watching.